It's Sunday night. It's 8 o'clock. Welcome to All Lacrosse Live. I'm Gary Groob in Toronto. With me, as always, I have Shawn Slaght over in Moose Jaw. Shawn, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. Thanks, Gary.
Great. And I have Muffler Mike over in Connecticut. Mike, how are you?
I'm good.
Great. We have a great show for you all. We have Mike Cooper going to join us from the Rochester Bats in a few minutes. And we're going to talk about the lineup he's sending over to Laxney in a couple of days' time for that annual tournament and see how he's been, because we haven't talked to him since about April or so. So it'd be great to have him on the show again. Just a few things before we get going. Just a reminder to everybody that we are streamed live across Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, also Instagram Live. Remember to hit the subscribe, follow, and like buttons. Always share. Please enjoy our affiliates. We have many of them going on now. There is two lacrosse shows going. There's this one on Sundays. There's the NL Lacrosse Talk on Thursdays. We have Candid Frank's shows, which are Football Talk and Leaf Talk, which are both on Wednesdays. We have Fly Like an Eagle on Fridays, Gridiron Weekly on Thursdays, Keep It in the Ring Thursday nights, MLS Sports Writers, Pittsburgh Sports Desk, and also Tales from the Film Set on Sunday evenings as well. A whole host of stuff for everybody involved. If you've missed a show, no worries. You can grab all the shows on YouTube at their respective Streampunk networks, as well as, of course, All Lacrosse all the time for anything and all lacrosse. Don't forget, when you get on there, you can also check out our library of shows, interviews, retro games, fights, press conferences, all kinds of stuff, and more coming all the time. Remember, you can stay up to date with all sports by visiting streampunkentertainment.com with great articles from our huge staff of contributors. Also, a reminder that our show is brought to you by 60. 60 is Canada's newest and most exciting sports uniform and teamwear brand, delivering top quality uniforms and teamwear that reflects the spirit and identity of each team. Their commitment to innovation and excellence sets them apart, ensuring that every customer experiences the perfect blend of style and functionality. Unleash your greatness with 60. How do you get to them? Well, first off, you can do the QR code, which is in the center of our screen, or you can visit them on Instagram at sweet_60. You can email them at info.sweet60@gmail.com, or go directly to their website at www.sweet60.ca/60. All right, without further ado, I want to bring on the general manager and assistant coach of the Rochester Bats, as well as the owner. Mike, how are you? It's great to have you.
I'm good, guys. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks for coming on again.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on for fourth time, fifth time?
Yeah, I think I did. I think you're clearly in front for most appearances on this show.
Yeah. It's going to be a yearly tradition here, I think.
Absolutely. Well, we have to have you after you win too, right? So, yeah.
Oh yeah.
You do it twice or three times.
Yeah.
All right. How you been?
A little busy, but we're doing good. This week the Bats, obviously that's the reason why I'm on. We got Laxney starts off on Thursday night. We're the headliner game at 6:50 versus the Seneca Marksmen. Other than that, we got travel lacrosse that just kicked off for me a couple weeks back, so I've been going at that. All that personal training I got going on the weekends is going as well, and it's Sunday night. The Bills are 2-0. So
you recovered from last week.
I don't have much to complain about.
You recovered from last week's heart attack, did you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Listen, if they can win out games like they did today, I'd feel a lot better every single week versus last week. So
absolutely. This was a much easier week to deal with.
Yep.
Well, let's go through your lineup, and you have just I thought last year was incredible. But this just blows that one completely out of the water. We're looking at this thing, and we start in net, and between Riley Hutchcoff and Brett Dobson, you have two of the premier goaltenders in the National Lacrosse League to start things off. That's a pretty good coup right away.
Yep.
We look at we going into Oshawa with Ben McDonnell, Gareth Hay out of Hamilton OSL, who had just a great summer, and I'm sure that he will be a big piece of the offense. Jack Follows out of Calgary. Seth Martineau, who's a Rochester draft pick, who should be able to jump onto the squad, I think, this year.
Big boy. 6'6", that kid.
That's something, man. That's
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
He's
Little
going to
hype.
make a statement in a hurry, I think.
Oh yeah.
Bloomberg's, who's also had a great, junior career, had a great OSL career as well as MSL, and now with Halifax, going to be a big, big plus too. Jake Harrington, your transition game is picking up right there out of Las Vegas. Jeff Geddes out of Allegheny. Kobe Whitacombe out of Allegheny as well. Kyle Waters, what can we say about him, man? He's just a big body and just soft hands, eh? Moving on, Kellen Polera, also out of Brooklyn. Really great summer, part of that Merchants squad that just about pulled off the President's Cup.
Oh yeah.
Christian Watts, also through that and with Halifax as well.
Watts must have one of the most underrated snipes I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, he is without a doubt. He opened a lot of eyes the last 2 years, and I think he's going to continue to just excel. Nolan Byrne, picked from the Swarm. I'm not too familiar with him, but I have heard a lot of great things.
He's going to flow pretty good when he gets up there with Georgia. So he'll be a good guy to flow around with this offense for sure.
Definitely. Tyler Halls, of course, just steadfast on D. Nate Grennan, of course, he's wearing a C this year. Well deserved. He made a big impact coming into Toronto last year in a part where the team was floundering. He actually made that ship a little bit more steady. And
he's that guy you love to hate if he's not on your team, but when he's on your team, you love to have him there.
Absolutely. Grit, and what a shot on him too.
Oh yeah.
Jimmy Freehill out of Philly and PLL and Bandits in the NLL. Just another fantastic D guy. Corey Becker out of Allegheny. Zach Harrow, I'll tell you, he had a great President's Cup with the Rivermen. During the year, he had a pretty solid year as well. But boy, oh boy, did he ever come to play at the President's Cup, and he made a statement through most of those games. Him and David Anderson were just absolute standouts in the President's. So he's going to be a huge addition in there. Zach Belter, of course, from the Bandits, a little more size D. Interesting to have Belter and Elijah Gash, though. That's an interesting one because, of course, we know they're brouhaha in Buffalo. But and of course Chase Fraser. Chase Fraser.
They'll get along. They'll get along quite well. And if obviously you guys have been watching the WLA the Mann Cup there, Gash has introduced himself quite well to the other guys in the league. And let me tell you, he's a beast on that floor. But he's one of the nicest, probably one of the best teammates you'll ever have. I mean, obviously, the last time I think I was on your show. Or one of your shows, Gash was on. Mm-hmm. He's just unreal. He's really down to earth. He's a heck of an athlete. He's just the kid's built out of marble. He takes in everything that you say to him. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what your background is. He takes everything in and he applies it to his game. And if he keeps up how he's going to be going, he's going to be an unreal player in that league for a long time to come. And obviously, if you haven't seen one of his fights, YouTube him a little bit and check in. But I tell you what, I would take on a lot of guys, and I've taken on a lot of guys. I would probably question him just a slight bit after the few scraps he's starting to get into. So, but maybe that's because I'm a little bit older.
Afraid to
doesn't back down.
With Riolo or any of these other guys either, right? So.
Oh yeah. So he's got a hard fist.
Definitely. But like you said, he's probably one of the nicest guys I've met. And it was funny, just after our interview there, I saw him in Rochester at a rock game back by the dressing rooms. And he just came out of the way just to say hi. And it's like, huge smile, ear to ear. Just so happy to be there that it's just, it's infectious.
Yeah, he's a very thankful kid. So I say kid because I'm a little bit older, but yeah, he's very thankful. So that's good. Very genuine.
Absolutely. And of course, we said Chase Fraser wearing the A as the last guy on the squad there. And Chase, of course, well, he's a human highlight reel, and he did it again in a President's Cup. And it was him and Kluche watching them on Allegheny was just wild. It was just an absolute crazy event. And it was just, especially when it came to the, since they didn't make it and it was a consolation game. And it seemed to be everybody was trying to top each other for goals just to keep it interesting.
Yeah.
And you start getting them freewheeling and with no pressure, and you start seeing some just insane goals.
Yeah. I can't wait to see him. And the offense is going to be unreal, right? This roster right here is going to be pretty ridiculous. But Nate Grennan had 2 of the highlight reel goals out of the tournament last year. But the first one is one that you're not going to forget. He took the ball down and jumped across the crease, threw it underhand behind his legs in the air, and just sniped the corner. Like, I've seen a lot of stuff in this game, and that's one of the goals I've never seen. And and when he came down and it hit the net, I was just like, what just happened? And then I looked over at Eric Peroni, and I'm like, that just happened, right? And he's like, where'd you get this kid? And I'm like, well, that's why we got him right there. So between him and Fraser, it's gonna be a nice little highlight reel weekend. I hope so.
Right. Now, that's an interesting point because Eric Peroni's been your coach, and I just saw Eric in the President's Cup and had a chat with him. He's going to be on my other show down the road a little bit. But you have Billy D as your head coach this time around, and, of course, Rob Osterbeck as your trainer. The Switch, what's up?
Eric had an issue at work late this past week, and he can no longer make it. So a lot of these guys knowing Billy D from the NLL, and a lot of the Allegheny guys knowing him from the Arrows. The familiarity with Billy D and what he brings to the table. He's been in the league for a long time. He's able to play defense. He put in some goals. Obviously, he knows how to drop the mitts and give it a go. And his coaching game's coming around pretty good. I know he had some stints up in the NLL. He's doing really, really well and changed that Allegheny team around in the Can-Am. And he's a big add. So once Eric kind of said that, hey, I might not be able to make it because of work, I don't want to leave you in the spot. What do you want to do? And, I got to run the team, right? So I don't want to be the head coach, be the guy that runs the team and have the say on every little thing. Like, I don't want to be that guy. So I want somebody else to be to my right where, it comes down to, okay, we got to power up or we need to get one here or we need to sit a guy, who are we going? I don't want to be that guy. Big, that's on you. You figure that one out. So Eric did a great job with that, and Billy D's going to step in that role, and Billy D's going to crush it. So thankful to have him step up and have his leadership and all of his experience behind the bench and, hopefully lead this team to a back-to-back championship. So that's the goal.
Absolutely. And I have last year's jersey up behind me. Of course.
I was going to ask you if you had it up there or not.
It's there.
Beautiful.
Of course. I was so proud to get one. Never mind.
Oh yeah. When I signed that for you that game, I had a few people who were like, "Hey, how do you get a bat jersey? How do you get signed?" How was he lucky enough? I'm like, he knows the guy. That's it. So, but
never mind. I had to get him to come down through the little.
You're just having internet issues again.
Yeah, he had to summon me down through the VIP, which a lot of people don't get down there, and they kind of let me get through there. So it was good to see him for a few minutes, and going down to meet Gary to give him that jersey and sign it for him. Of course, I had my little guy right behind me. He had a blast. That game right there he was on the windows just cheering on Gasher and Grenz and a couple of other bats that were making their Roch debut in the Rock uniforms, and meeting them afterwards. I mean, quite simply, everything I've done and played and been around has been great, and it's so awesome to give back to it. Have a good team like the Bats team and coach all these youth and varsity and travel teams. Like it's unreal. But then when you're able to do it for your kids and they're watching, and my son just turned 3. Thankfully, I had a lot of guys that I played against that have sent me a lot of their jerseys, their helmets, sticks, gloves to hang up in his room. The kid, like I said, he just turned 3. He hasn't put his stick down since he's 2. He loves it, and it just I'm that guy. Like, if he wants to play soccer, go play soccer, whatever you want to do. But when he has a lacrosse stick and he has that smile from ear to ear, I'm like, yes, let's go. Let's go. And he's getting to the point now where he's starting to put that helmet on. But that game right there, like, he loved it. And then meeting Gasher and Grenz afterwards, like, he thought that was the best thing ever. So, you know, doing this, meeting those guys with him and my girls, my oldest is a big lacrosse player, as we talked about before. And, you know, it's cool to you know, show her and show him these guys that I played against or are on the bat. So that's kind of like the extra special part of doing all this stuff too.
Absolutely. Well, we always seem to have a funny story because, you know, the time before when I was in Rochester, Mike's in the crowd just behind me and notices the all lacrosse all the time jacket.
Yep.
You know, I know that jacket.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I hear my name and it's like, hey.
Oh yeah. I think I had this section chatting now, Gary. Money came with a "you suck" after, but I think that's just natural, Rochester, right?
Rochester, right? Yeah.
So.
But then again, Toronto wasn't playing that day, so I could be incognito.
Yeah. So, yeah. So I mean, and then like you said, we got Rob on the bench. Rob's a man. Let me tell you. I don't remember honestly how I met Rob, but he's amazing at everything. He's a trainer. He does equipment, all that stuff. He strings heads like unbelievably well. He does all the dyes. Give him a follow on Twisted Heads on Instagram or on Facebook. So shout out to him. But he's fantastic, and he just like Gash. He's just unreal. He's just such a nice guy, and he'll be happy to do anything. And last year, when I was on the show, I was telling you how we played for Gigi, my daughter's friend and a close family of ours, daughter that had passed away, and just after the tournament or just before the tournament, somewhere in there, I reached out to him and had a head made for her twin brother Robbie, and he did. I just told him like I don't even know. I can't tell you what I want on it. I'm like, this is what I need. It just needs to be something for the two of them. And he made the nicest lacrosse head with a heart and saying flying together, and it just. I don't get too emotional often, but when he made that and sent me the picture, I'm like, you crushed it. And so nice that when I gifted it to the family and I gifted it to Robbie, he won't play with it. It's up in his room. He's hanging it in his room for his sister. And but he's special. He does unbelievable work. He does great stuff. And when he's at this tournament, like, he doesn't take a shift off. Like, if somebody needs something, he gets right at it. And keep in mind, like, this isn't professional, right? So these guys aren't getting paid. And Rob just loves the game, and he's all about it. And, you know, to get these guys that just love the game and want to give back and are such a big thing for me and the team, like, it's just huge. It's huge. I can never thank those guys enough for, especially him, for what he does. So,
right. Absolutely. Sounds like you have an excellent squad ready to go.
Yeah, we're happy. When we were playing last year, there's a lot of teams that were kind of targeting us, that were saying, you know, a lot of things behind the scenes in the locker rooms and stuff like that. And there's some words that went on and forth, and it's just like, you know, we do this because we want to win, right? Everybody wants to win. Like, you lose. It is what it is. It's life, right? It's not that big of a deal. Obviously, I'm a Bills fan. I can tell you it sucks to lose, right? I know how that feels, right? Thankfully enough, I'm also a Detroit Red Wings fan and the Yankees fan, right? So I saw some championships in my life. At some point, I'd like to see a Super Bowl, but we'll let that be. So it's nice to have our team cash in, and cash in twice is pretty good. I'd like to go back to back. That's something that hasn't been done since the Thompson brothers had their team in there. So, you know, I'd love to get that in there, right? And this squad is pretty good, and you know, having Dobson in that is going to be unreal. I know you said that Riley Hutchcraft was on there too. Riley, unfortunately, he won't be able to make it, so it'll just be Brett Dobson in that. And you know, we're confident with Dobson back there. He's going to do an unbelievable job. And, you know, we're going to see what happens, right? So, I mean, we want to go. We want to lift that trophy one more time and get it back to back. And this team right here, they should be really good. There's just a lot of athletes, right? So there's lacrosse players, there's football players, baseball players, but then there's athletes. And a lot of these guys are simply athletes. Some of these guys that just got drafted, the one to the Nighthawks, right? I'm never going to say his name right. Martin New, right? And the other boys, right? Like these guys have the opportunity to be huge assets at that level, and to get a good taste with these NLL veterans that are on this team. It's going to be something special to watch for sure.
Absolutely. Guys, you had anything to ask Mike? Mike?
Not off the top of my head. Just I guess out of curiosity, did any of these guys come directly to you to say, "Hey, I want to join the team for next year after last year's win"?
You know what's funny is I can't tell you off the top of my head some of them. I already got a roster of guys that are ready to go for next year, and they're top NLL guys. Like this is a really, really good team, right? And these are like the best of the best are just seeing this. And they're like, "Oh, we won in too." So it's kind of like, you know, like this team is last year's team was really, really good. This team is really, really good, and it's like it's humbling, right? Like I'm not somebody that's got an ego by any chance, so it's just cool to see all these big guys that want to be a part of it. Like they see what's special, how special it is to be a bat, put that uniform on, and you know, they know the experience. A lot of these guys tell me that they go into the NLL locker rooms and they talk about it, and a lot of these guys want to get in, and it's unreal. And you know, it's, you know, a lot of guys I've known, but there's quite a few obviously guys that, you know, I don't know. Fraser, I didn't know, but he played with a lot of the Allegheny boys that I know. Jeff Geddes is like my little brother. So once he, you know, kind of sent me a shot, I was like, hey, listen, let's get Fraser. I said, hey, you're on the Allegheny team. You work that. If you can get him, let's get him. Yeah, so it's a little bit of both, I guess. But a lot of these guys I know for the most part. But some of the guys that I don't, I'll give them a shout, or somebody from the team that knows them will reach out to them and have them give me a call or a text or something like that. So it kind of goes both ways. Just depends on what we're doing here.
Right. Shawn, you got a question?
Oh yeah, I guess you're kind of talking about you already have that lineup set for next year. I'm just kind of curious about the process. Is that usually kind of how long it takes to kind of put a team in and put a team together?
So that's funny. No, I've never had guys reach out to me this early, and a lot of guys are like, listen, we want to play this year, but we're going to be out of town. We got a wedding, or we're going to be out of the country, or we just got done with the Mann Cup or Prezi or whatever, and we're beat. We want to be in next year. Please get us on that roster. Let us know what we want to do. And to be honest with you, between this roster and those extra guys that are asking to get in for next year, it's just like, I don't know how that goes. Right?
Cuts are going to be hard.
Waiting list.
Pretty good problem to have, I think.
Yeah, the roster bats are not making cuts, so I mean, we'll have to figure that out at some point. It's funny because when I was reaching out to Billy D, the coach, he goes, "Here's if we need anybody." I'm like, we might. He goes, "Well, I could be a player coach." I'm like, "Billy, I don't need you punching somebody's lights out." So, but I guess it's a good problem to have, and it brings a lot of good light to the tournament. And you know, I get texts all the time, like, you know, hey, take it easy on us, or, you know, hey, you know, how are we going to compete with you guys? Like, hey, it's like we want to have fun and we want to have a good team there. And like I said, last year there's a lot of chirps that were behind the scenes from some people that were a little sour that we were doing as good as we did, or won the championship for the second time. It's like, you know, I'm all about winning, right? But if we lose, we lose. It is what it is, right? You have good sportsmanlike and you have a good attitude about it. You keep your chin up and you move on. I hate to hear nonsense. I don't like to hear any of that stuff. So once you start kind of putting like a target on our back and kind of making it more of something else, then I'm going to push the pedal and we're going to go full throttle. And that's kind of what we got going here. So, right. But on the other side of that too, Scott Neese and Connor Wilson that run the tournament, they do a phenomenal job. Scott is on this all the time. Scott's also a big part, or he was. I don't know if he is anymore, but with the Prague tournament, the AHM tournament. Please tell me I said that right, Gary.
You said it right.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sure
He has a lot to do with that tournament, or he did. And, they modeled this after that. And I would personally say this is the bigger tournament. And it's definitely the most known, I would say. Maybe it's because it's stateside and a lot of the NLL guys can get into it because it's right here, and especially right before camps. And Prague is in the middle of the season, and it's also you got to hop over to another country, so it's a little bit tougher to get over there. But these guys do an unreal job with this tournament. It was over at the Onondaga Nation, and those arenas. I've spent so many hours battling on those floors, for and against that area, and it's unreal over there. But this arena they built in Utica at the Nexus Center is just amazing. Yep. It's got 3 really good rinks in there. It's got the Adirondack Bank Center right attached to it, so they can use that too if they need to use it, which is what they had in discussions for this year. But they got a great facility. They do a great job there, and Scott's all over everything. If you ever need him for any reason, you're able to call him or text him, and he'll get back to you right away. But it's just a great tournament, and I know there's a lot more NLL guys that'll be there. I know some of the teams over there are going to be very, very, very good. So, we're excited to get it going and seeing how it is. I haven't sent the pictures out of our uniforms yet. I should have sent it over to you, but we got some nice new uniforms this year.
Beauty.
We'll be back with the teal again. We like the teal, but we're anxious to get this thing going for sure.
Absolutely. You actually have a thing there because I believe you're the only blemish on John Tavares's record. Since everything he goes to, he wins, right? Three NLL championships, 3 Man Cups now. But last year, you guys beat him.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, that felt kind of nice, right? I mean, who am I? Who's Mike Cooper, right? To beat John Tavares, like he did not look happy at the end of that game. And you can say it's a men's tournament or it's this or that, but you could tell he was not happy that he lost that game. And I said to Watts, probably something I shouldn't say on here, but I'm like, Watts, I'm like, sorry, buddy. I'm like, you put in some nice goals on that. I hope that doesn't affect you. So, but he sniped some good shots on that, and Gash had some good battles in that game against Tahoka, and it was a good game. It was a good game, but it was obviously nice to get that win and get it against Johnny T. It's always something special, especially against right. That's somebody I grew up watching, him and Junior going at it, right? That was the battle. It was Johnny Grant or Johnny Tavares. Like who was the better? And to go against him on the bench like that was an honor to get that and get that win. So
absolutely. See, the one thing I do when I look at this lineup up and down is chemistry. You have a lot of guys that have played together, a lot of guys who know each other and can work well together. So the chemistry is definitely there.
Yep. And that's the biggest thing is getting guys that know each other. Obviously, this thing gets going Thursday night, so we get, like I said, our game's at 6:50 Thursday night. It's hard to get in and have a practice, so it's you got to get guys that know each other. They know each other's strengths. They know where each other is going to be on that floor. Right. They know on defense who's going to be going hard to the ball, who's going to start be cutting up for that transition. So it's good to have those guys that have that familiarity with each other and be able to execute as soon as they get that ball or as soon as that ball starts coming to them on what to do. So that's a big part of this. I mean, you could throw, and I've said this before, you could throw NLL All-Stars on a roster. I mean, I could do that all day, but if it's all eyes, you're not going to be able to win, right? So you got to find the right people that are going to be able to fit right back in there. And you said like Garrett Hay there, played at Hamilton, right? Not too many people know who he is, but he was either top 5 or top 10. I want to say he was top 5 in scoring in Senior B in Ontario this year.
He also had a fantastic Arena Lacrosse League season last season as well. So he's primed for the next step. Yeah,
he's underrated. He's not even right now. He's not even in a camp for the fall, which blows my mind. But he is underrated. Nobody knows who he is, and he's a phenomenal player. The kid works hard. Bulura is the same way. Kid works very hard. Had a great summer this year with Brooklyn. I don't know. I don't think he's in a camp this year, but he's definitely somebody who should be in a camp. Those 2 guys right away should be in camps. And Gaddis there has definitely shown.
A great team guy, an absolutely fantastic team guy. First off.
Gaddis needs to be in a camp too. Super fast and just buries. buries his shots. And he's one of those guys that he'll go, and if he's got the shot, he's going to take it. But if he doesn't, he'll easily pull that ball right out of there and move it over to the offense and hustle right off the floor. Like, that's the guy that you need. You don't want the guy that's going to go down there and force those shots just because he's got a shot to take, but he knows it's going to be bad. You want that guy that if he's got the shot, take the shot. If not, pull it out, get to your offense, right? I mean, that's why you have the offense out there, right? You have the guys that can score. So he's had 2 amazing years with Allegheny, and I know right now he's not in a camp for the fall, but that kid right there, somebody needs to get him in a camp. They need to get him going because he is somebody that's low key that you need in a practice roster spot. Then get him there for now, but that kid should be seeing some floor time in the NLL. Like he works very, very hard.
Right. Well, when do you get into Utica? You going in Wednesday or are you going in Thursday?
No, I'll be in there Thursday. I'll probably be in there Thursday, 4:30 or 5.
Right.
So get everything set up, get our locker room set up, and the nice thing is too is that when you win the tournament, you get your own locker room. So you don't have to carry your bags out after every single game through all the hallways and all the hundreds and thousands of people that are there. We get our own locker room, so we can get in there, drop our stuff off, play our game or whatever we want to do, lock the locker room, and then get back at it after the next day. So that's the nice bonus of winning and being able to have that. Now, how long that lasts, I don't know, because Scott and Connor bumped the tournament up this year to, I want to say 40 teams, 40 men's teams. Then they also have they have a Masters division, which I don't know how many teams are in that. They have a women's division, which I don't know how many teams are in that. And they have a U18 division, and they did last year had a U15 division. I don't know if they have both this year now. I know they definitely have the U18. I don't know how many teams are in those, but when you start adding all that together in one area, that's a lot to have, right? So to have your own locker room, I mean, I'm going to take it for this year. I don't know if it'll happen again, but it's definitely a nice plus for us to have. So
absolutely. Well, we wish you the best. I'll let you get back to Sunday night football and enjoy your evening. But definitely, we'll be watching it on YouTube. I believe it is.
It'll be streamed live. I believe it's Blue Squatch Productions is usually who puts it on. They do a phenomenal job with their productions and stuff like that. And they might be changing it up this year or not. They might be changing it up this year. I'm not 100% sure. I heard rumors that they might only be doing 10 games live, and the rest are going to be on Live Barn. I think a lot of the arenas have Live Barns now. Or if they're going to do them all like they did last year and in the previous years. But they do an unreal job.
The Laxney website and take a look where it says streaming, and it'll take you to where you need to go.
Exactly. Yep.
All right. So, well, best of luck, Mike. Keep me informed, and we will have you back on after with the hopefully with the trophy again.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you guys having us on, and again, thank you for all your guys' support and everything like that. At some point, I'm gonna have to get a jersey out for Shawn and Mike there, so they're not just staring at the one that you got there. And I see Shawn's got a little bit of a collection, so
absolutely.
So, all right, guys. Well, thanks for having me again. Go Bills and go back. I'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. All the best.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Mike.
And that was Mike Cooper of the Rochester Bats, and we wish him the best of luck in the Laxney tournament, and we wish me the best of luck with the internet. Rogers is having fun with me again. They left me alone last week, remember? Now they're getting a double the fun. We're gonna get into PLL in just a minute. I see Caden is in the green room, chomping at the bit to talk about that. Just a couple of bits of news. We had a bit of sad news today. Frank Lawrence, longtime OLA referee and mentor to many over the years, Hall of Famer, passed away this morning. He was ill for a little bit, but that's a terrible loss for the for the lacrosse world. Bill Fox eloquently put it in his post. Was my friend and fellow official passed away this morning. Frank Lawrence, for over 30 years, helped to develop officials in both box and field lacrosse in Canada and worldwide. One of the most respected officials to wear the stripes both on and off the playing surface. I'm so proud to be inducted into the Ontario Lacrosse Hall of Fame. Beside Frank, as an official, we shared many stories working together. Frank's legacy will live on for years to come due to his mentorship and friendship. Our thoughts and prayers go out to his family, friends, and everyone he touched over so many years. Bill and Angela Fox. Absolutely fantastic. Dead on to the point. I have a little clip just at the end of Frank's induction into the Ontario Lacrosse Hall of Fame, and it really does surmise it. So if we just want to indulge me for a few seconds.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very proud to have been inducted into the Ontario Lacrosse Hall of Fame. Minor lacrosse is very important to me, as junior to major is. But, you know, Rose Engelman told me without minor lacrosse, there would be no junior to major lacrosse. And Zone 9 supports that. The executive of Zone 9 supports referees in Zone 9. They support them all Ontario. But in Zone 9, they support the referees. Thank you very much. Good night.
And that was Frank to a T. I have one little thing to show you. My cap, which has, of course, got all the teams and things like that from all the world championships. I have on it a gold lacrosse stick that was given to me from Frank Lawrence. And it was given to me as a token for the work that we do. And that was back at the 2023 President's Cup, in which he was referee in charge for that tournament. And it was an absolute pleasure, as it was in some of the other tournaments that I worked with Frank as well. But to work side by side with him, it was just such a joy to sit there and talk between games and just, talk stories and listen to some of the things over the years and the developments and all the other things. So a terrible tragedy for the lacrosse world, but his legacy will live on in so many people that he mentored, trained, worked with, worked alongside with. So our thoughts and prayers are with the family, with the friends, and with everybody who knew Frank. Another bit of news, a little better news, is that the NLL season is going to be, well, let's hope that they actually come up with an agreement, because they've come up with the opening schedules and when they are, and each team with it. The opening week schedule, Buffalo finally gets a home game to raise their banner on the first week. And they get the Georgia Swarm, so they get the Thompson brothers, etc. And it's going to be quite the barn burner of a Saturday evening there as the banner goes up November 29th. The other one that came to my attention was November the 28th is the Oshawa Firewolves have their home opener against their new rival, the Toronto Rock. Now, if you remember, Toronto had the inaugural one with Ottawa, which didn't go so well for Toronto. Went very well for Ottawa. But for Toronto, not so good. They're going to try and erase that along the way. Their home opener is 2 weeks later on December the 13th. But as you can see here, it is on our page at All Across All the Time, on Facebook and on Instagram if you want to take a closer look at this. The schedule, I believe, will be out in about 2 weeks. So that will be that. Kufla came up with their rankings for this week, and whoops, might as well get with the first one right. Trent University is 2-0, and they are number 1. Western hasn't played yet, so they're just sitting there number 2 for some reason. Nipissing is 1-0, and they're sitting number 3. McGill is down a couple of spots, and they're at number 4. University of Guelph down a couple of spots at 5. Brock is staying put. It's number 6. Bishop's University is number 7. University of Ottawa, number 8. Carleton, number 9. Queens, number 10. University of Toronto is number 11. Laurier, 12. McMaster, 13. and Laurentian University on the bottom there. And hopefully, when they play again this week, they will have a better showing. Well, guys, PLL time. We had the final. Oh, Eduardo's with us. Hey, Eduardo. Thank you for following. Pleasure to have you with us. What a game. What a game. The New York Atlas, of course, against the Denver Outlaws. Let me bring in our secondary Atlas fanatic. I have my shirt on there, Caden. Sorry, buddy. Some sound, please, Caden. Some sound. I want to hear your scream.
I don't have a jersey. I'm taking this. This is an Adam Fox jersey.
I have
God!
an MVP jersey because I have a Teat jersey. Signed by my friend Jeff Teat.
Wow.
Wasn't that a game, though? Wasn't
What
that
a game?
With the exception, of course, of Xander Dixon, we wish him the best. With that was just an absolute.
That was a gruesome injury.
Horrible.
There was a video
Freak
that was.
accident.
There was a video that was posted by the Atlas coming out. I don't know if it was coming out of the half or it was coming after the Dixon injury. And I think it was, I forget exactly who it was, but the speech that he gave in that huddle was absolutely fantastic because it was exactly everything that needed to be said. It was, we're playing for Xander now. Like at this point in time, he's fine. He's probably gonna be fine. We just have to not forget about it, but we have to play for him now. And that's what it all turned into. It turned into them putting their hearts out on their chest, pouring everything out. Blood, sweat, tears, everything. And that was a win purely for Xander.
Absolutely. Now, the way I saw it is that the high-octane offense of Denver actually got New York, caught them flat-footed. And that first quarter really was Denver dictating what was going on. Of course, Schellenberger and Teat had things to say about that. But when you looked at it, really, Brennan O'Neill really had a huge say in how that first quarter went. It was 5-3 for Denver after the first. Thoughts, Caden?
I truthfully, I was working all day, so I wasn't able to sit down and fully watch the game, but I was catching highlights off of Twitter and through the text that everybody was sending. But I definitely won't lie. The thought of Brennan kind of just taking it away felt like something that had to happen, because you mentioned the high octane offense of both the Atlas, but look at the Outlaws as well. I mean, they were able to
4-2 arts and winners there, right?
They were able to fight hand and foot with this best team, but it's not only that, it's that Brendan O'Neill was able to break a top quality defense and what felt like with ease. But in a way, with the way that the Atlas season has been going, this felt like it was coming. A game where their defense was going to be bent and pushed to their maximum point, and this was it. And it was that mantra of bend, don't break, and they took a lot of stress, they took a lot of bend, but they never broke.
Right, and in that second quarter, they upped the tempo themselves and stormed back. It was 6-6 before you could really blink early into that quarter. And the track meet kept going, and it was punch, counterpunch, punch, counterpunch, until near the end of the half, where New York was able to get a couple of goals and be up 9-7. Now, the standout to me for that half wasn't any one particular player. It was Leon Emteman in net. He made 11 saves in the half. His name will come up again a couple of times before we're done with this game. But he made 11 saves in that first half. And I really believe he was the difference because it could have really gotten out of hand if he was having an average game.
No, absolutely, and that's what the Atlas were looking for with their draft pick of Liam Entenmann. They were looking for a guy who could legitimately win you a game, and he came on and did that. And I mean, I know we're going to talk about it later on, but I actually want to mention something else that was a side part to the game that I noticed as well. There was a side scruffle between a couple Atlas players and Chris Kavanaugh, and and right in the middle of that, Liam Entenmann comes in and defends Kavanaugh, one of his best friends, one of his old teammates, and it's great to see that he's still like yes, the Atlas are his boys. They're the guys he fights and goes to war with every weekend. But this is it's like Kavanaugh is his blood almost. So for him to get in the way of what was bound to be something ugly speaks a lot about the character that Liam Entenmann is. Not even just the player. I mean, like, we can talk about the player every single day until the cows come home of how good he is. And I mean, again, we're going to talk about it later on, but that just showed the character. And sometimes you don't really see the character come out on the field because it's always like a locker room thing, or it's always a social media thing, or it's just like a fan experience, word of mouth type of thing. But to see that happen on live TV, it was truly to speak towards his character right there.
Right. Well, that was also a where they thought that he got run over, and it really wasn't anything.
Yeah.
And he was defusing a situation, which he should. But props to him because that could have gotten ugly in a hurry. And it's funny because no penalties were issued on the play, which no penalty should have been issued on the play. But it could have been Atlas sitting down, and that could, again, every little thing mattered in this game. And that could have been the discerning factor on how this thing came out as well. Every little thing was gigantic. Under a microscope is an understatement and a half for everything that could have been.
Absolutely. And, you mentioned that, like, what if Entenmann wasn't really paying attention and those Atlas players were able to get at Kavanaugh? And like you mentioned, no penalties were issued on the play, but a hypothetical, and we talk about every touch matters, every play matters, and we talk a lot about like face-offs. It's a big thing of winning the face-off and getting that extra touch, getting that extra possession. Every possession matters. If the Outlaws had this power player, this man advantage for any amount of time, if a penalty were to happen, if this thing's to get out of control, that could have really possibly put the end on the Atlas's winning chances, because that would have put a lot more momentum in the saddle of the Outlaws.
Yeah, I agree. Now, we get into the second half, and whatever was said in the Denver locker room got them heated because they came out on fire. 3 goals in 39 seconds, and all of a sudden we're tied 10-10 early on into the third quarter. And the track meet continued from there. This was end to end to end. Your neck would be sore if you were in the crowd because it just went back, forth, up, down, back. The quality of play in this game, and we've seen some fantastic games throughout the year, but this was by far the best game that I'd seen this year in the PLL. Absolutely, without a doubt.
something that I preached as the Atlas were just getting stronger throughout the season, and you guys can all attest to it, is the only team I can truly see giving the Atlas a run for their money is the Outlaws. And I mean, yes, Philadelphia made some games look close. There were some other close games, but truly, like you said, Gary, this is what the PLL was all about. This is like the perfect way to showcase a championship. Like, this is like the perfect championship match for the PLL. This showed everything. It showed physicality. It showed skill. It showed strategy. It showed amazing saves, amazing plays, and
Coaching, coaching, how to work the clock, how to manipulate, how to have everything work, plans, blueprints, everything that we talk about week in and week out, we saw from both sides throughout, and intensity. Nobody took a shift off. Nobody took a play off. Everybody was primed, ready, and it showed in every single play that we went on here. Now, the Outlaws actually were up 12-11 going into the fourth quarter. And you're thinking, my God, this is going to be one hell of a fourth quarter. And let me tell you what, the fourth quarter did not disappoint. New York ties this thing early on in the fourth. And then, then the wide open play started. As if it hadn't already been end-to-end and upside down and all over the place. After a few minutes of end-to-end action, Brian Kostiuk checks in. And holy smokes, goals, back-to-back goals, but both goals were just, what in the heck is going on? He fired an absolute howitzer to the short side top corner that I don't think anybody saw until it was already, ringing off the net. He follows that up with an absolute beauty to the far side. just
and
incredible.
That one, I remember that one too. Like, the ankle he had on that one was, he was pretty much on the goal line when he shot that one. Yeah,
it was impossible. There was a sliver for it to get in, and somehow with a twister in air, in an impossible shot, it went in. Again, talking to some of the most crazy, impossible stuff that we would see, that you'd want to see in a championship game. Paul and Mike Rabel are sitting there going, oh, yes, this is it. The gods have smiled upon the PLL, with the WLL as well, but this thing was insane. And then, it's 14-12 with less than half a quarter to go. Jared Bernhardt brings Denver within one with 1:50 left. But there was controversy because they thought that Kostiuk had another goal, and they had to review it after he scored to see if it wasn't, the 2-goal swing the other way. And then upon review, it hit the post, and it hit the goalie, hit the post, hit the side, and did everything but go in the net. So Bernhardt's goal, 14-13, with a long 1:50 remaining. And the Outlaws pressed. And pressed. And the save of the day, Leon Entenmann from in close, how he stopped this thing is beyond me. Even when I review it and look at it 2, 3, 4, 5 times, I still don't know how he got his stick there and was able to just snag that. And, that's why he's who he is.
I mean, you could not even say save of the day. You could say save of the year right on that one. And it's not even just the save that happened. It was the circumstances that it happened in. Yeah, that was a great save.
Well, we think about Brett Dobson from a couple of years ago with the 2-pointer that would have won the championship or lose it for them, and it went off his toe and made that save that saved it. Well, again, here we go with another high echelon goalie moment that basically puts the championship into the Atlas hands. And
that's the thing, right? Like, sorry, Gary, that's the thing, right? Like, let's assume that went in instead of the save, that unbelievable save. We're probably talking overtime. Then who knows what happens in overtime? We might not even be talking about an Atlas championship.
Shawn, you mentioned overtime, and that was something I was going to bring up, is that with the way that this game was headed and the back and forth, fight between the two teams. It just seemed like the only way that this game could end is with an overtime. And it felt like it was going that way. And then Bernhardt, like you said, Bernhardt came in close, but Liam Entenmann was like, Liam Entenmann was like, I don't want to play any more extra lacrosse, guys. I want to take the championship home right now.
Right.
But on top of that, I also want to mention Kostiuk, because you're talking about Kostiuk in his beautiful, skillful plays. And that's something that I continuously preach throughout the season, is how deep this roster is that sometimes you're not even talking about Kostiuk. And he's out there making these amazing plays, scoring 2 huge goals for New York, which gave them the win. But, like, you still have Teat. You still have Schellenberger. Even with Dixon out, you still have Trainer. You have McCarr, Logan. Obviously, Entenmann making the saves when they needed to happen. And then you have Kostiuk. Sometimes you don't even talk about him. And
we probably wouldn't have even seen him if it wasn't for Dixon going down.
Yeah.
And really, that's been kind of the difference between this championship Atlas and the Atlas of the years past. Is what we said over and over again, is they rely too much on Jeff Teat. There's no secondary scoring. Well, now look, you got Schellenberger, you got Trainer, you got Kostiuk, you even had Reed Bowering getting into the mix. Like,
wasn't
got that
goal?
secondary scoring now?
Wasn't that a goal? Teat's fallen down. He flips it over to Bowering, who buries it.
Yeah.
And when asked about it, he goes, well, he's just a miracle worker. No, Teat. The miracle worker was you being able to keep possession and get the ball to him. That was insane. In a game full of insanity. And even the end, watching Entenmann take the ball out, and just before it gets knocked out of his stick, his coach comes up with the timeout and pulls him off the hook because they're caught with their pants down if Entenmann's at center and the ball is now in Denver's hands with about 30 seconds left or 20 seconds left. That just saved a catastrophe from happening.
And, Teat just won MVP, which is huge. But now, as we get close to the NLL season, this just is a blueprint for Ottawa. Mm-hmm. Ottawa needs to look at this and say, oh, wow. Well, New York, the year before, they relied on Teat and Teat alone, and they didn't make it that far. They didn't really do that good. And then they fast forward to this year. Whoa! He's got people he can pass to. He's got people that can pass to him. He's got people that can score, so he doesn't have to do it all himself. Whoa! This is unheard of.
It's funny you say that, because Ottawa just announced this week a number of their staff changes, because everything changed over there. And of course, we know that Dan McRae is the GM and head coach. Ken Gillies is the assistant GM. Dylan Evans and Brian Beazle are going to be on the bench with Dan McRae, who are storied coaches. Bennett Drake is the video coach. Now, a good friend of mine, in fact, he's going to be on my other show in a couple of weeks' time. I went to Prague with him, and he is the GM of the Burlington Blaze. Sean Gillies is now the director of scouting for the Ottawa Black Bears. So if you want someone who knows everything that's going on in Ontario lacrosse, you got him. And Western-wise, the same idea. You have Rod Wade, who is a Western scout. So anything you needed out in the Western zone, you have that. So I think Ottawa has made a number of real swift moves. Again, you're as good as the head. When the head is smart, the body's smart. When the head is dumb, the body is dumb. So, there's some really, really good personnel moves there.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see what Ottawa can come up with coming into this new season.
Absolutely. The one guy I haven't heard from in this, Mike, I haven't heard your take on how this game went.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm looking at things slightly differently. I mean, obviously, congratulations to Atlas. some of the things that stood out to me, just stat wise, they win 22 out of 31 faceoffs, and that was to be expected with Trevor Baptiste against Luke Weirman. But they finished the game with less total shots than Denver, less shots on goal than Denver, and Denver had more turnovers in the game. Yet this was still a 1-goal game. So,
it just shows that it just shows that even when it seems like all the chips are down and away from Denver, they're still finding a way, and that was their whole MO this entire season, and that's what brought them to the championship.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I'll agree with that. I mean, Entenmann had to make a lot more saves than Logan McNaney did as well. So,
and you notice I think there's one penalty in the game. So that was a non-factor. They killed off the penalty, but it was a non-factor.
Yeah, and no 2-point goals at all.
Yeah.
None. No attempts at 2-point goals. So much as that. Not even 2 points. Not even an attempt at a 2-point goal.
You wonder that with how close this game was, that if a 2-point attempt was made and, massive turnover happens, how detrimental that could be towards the defense of having to get set relatively quicker than they would if a regular attempt was taken. So I feel like the pressure, it was a lot of the pressure of the championship and the possibilities of what could happen, which led to the...
Well, I figured if Bernhardt didn't score, we would have seen an awful lot of 2-point tries in the last minute and a half. I think everything would have been a 2-point try because they would have needed 2.
Yeah, to the same extent, and I agree with everything you said, Caden. I think it's probably look from column A and look from column B, and the fact too, you look at those 2 goaltenders in Entenmann and McNaney, that you're game playing thinking like outside shots probably aren't going to do it with these 2 league goaltenders, that you're going to have to get inside if you're going to score on them.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Well, that's another PLL season in the books. What a season it was. We saw some of the greatest things all year long. In fact, I think this was, I may be going out on a limb here, but I think this was the best season. When you're taking a look at parity, you're taking a look at skill level, you're taking a look at all the factors that go into making it, right down to the wire for who's getting into the playoffs. And we had different teams in there. Right? Didn't matter who won.
Yeah.
We had a different team winning, raising that trophy. So it had a little bit of everything for everyone. So
I'm gonna come out as biased, and
Oh, here we go. Listen, you got to have back-to-back before you can do 3-peat, okay?
No.
Just get that out of the way. Okay?
I know. Listen, I'm not
You saw
counting.
6 Nations. You got to have back-to-back before you can start talking 3-peat, okay?
Got to walk before you can run here.
There needs to be another New York team picking up a 3-peat. But no, I'm not even thinking about next season. I'm going to agree with Gary that this was the best PLL season by far, but it's a testament. It shows that the PLL is just getting better. It just continues to get better each and every year. There's no step backs. There's no falters or anything. They're full steam ahead, and I love this, and I would really, really love to see, maybe another team join the league. I don't know how possible that is, or they would have to add 2 to even out the divisions. But I love seeing this. I love seeing that, and I would also really love to see more of a home team stand. The touring is perfect for having the PLL go to everywhere in the U.S., give everyone a chance to, get a look at it. But I think it would be really, really cool to have teams who are in their own hometown or like in their own place. So like, for example, the Atlas playing at UAlbany, them being at UAlbany, or like Boston playing at a Harvard. It's just, that's something I would really like to see. But there needs to be a lot more. I would think a lot more revenue coming in, and
I
lot
still
more.
like the format though, because it is unique. But I did like the format that is the traveling circus. And when you go on that weekend, you see every great player, not just a certain amount of players here and there and whatever that we get with home teams and visitors coming in that we get with every other league. Here, the whole shebang goes there, and you get 4 fantastic games over the weekend. You can watch 1, you can watch 4. It depends on how you want to do it.
Yeah.
And we move to another town and we give them the opportunity. And yes, you have your University of Albany, and you have your Harvard, and you have your places that you are playing. And then you have the other weeks in which it's going to different spots and expanding people's ability to see it live, which is the big way to grow this thing.
Yeah.
Because on TV is one thing, on ESPN Plus is another thing. But when you're able to take a 3-dimensional game and see it in 3 dimension, then you get the people with the wow factor.
Yeah.
2-dimension is great for you, me, Mike, Shawn. It's fantastic because I'll watch it on a washing machine if I have to. I'll watch it anywhere. I'll watch it in a park. I watch some games, in my car and But to see it live and to be there and to have all that, you can't beat that experience. That's why whenever you take someone to a game, they're hooked. When they watch it, I take it, leave it. You bring them, they're hooked. And it's everything about the game day experience. And the PLL, from my experience of even the few times I was here, was, excellent in their game day experience.
Actually, I was just going to say, Gary, that's maybe the one improvement I would like to see, at least for you and me, is let's get some games in Canada.
Yeah, we only had it the one time out in Hamilton, and it was great. It was fantastic. It was a great weekend that I spent up in Hamilton. I don't say that very often. A great weekend to spend it. Anyway, but you just don't get those words out of an Argo fan.
Great time and in Hamilton don't really
mesh.
Yeah.
it's like opposite magnets going at each other.
A little bile in the back of my. But anyways, but over through Lacrosse, it was a wonderful time because you had everything there, and it was the show. So, that being said, right now we're working towards the 60s.
Now that there were a couple of weeks during the summer where they were off. Most notably, at the end near the playoffs there. But maybe, I think I agree with you. They still need to keep kind of this format for now. But maybe they can add a couple more weeks of regular season play, and they can do more than just, because if you got 10 game season, 8 of those weeks are already homecoming weekends.
Yeah.
You only have 2 other places you can go to. If you can somehow find a way to make it like a 12-game season, now you've got 4 different places you can go. You can, you can go to your Minneapolis, you can go to your Chicago, you can go to your Fairfield, places that aren't,
And
the Midwest did kind of get shafted, when home assignments were for teams. But the other thing I'd want to add is I'm not sure that we would see that for next season, because I think they've kind of already taken a step next season by committing to a full schedule for the WLL.
Mm-hmm.
That as well.
Yeah.
And they're really pushing that because, well, don't forget we're in ramp for the Olympics now.
Yeah.
So you're not going to see a whole lot of changes until the Olympics are there, because they're looking to perfect what we've got.
Yeah, and the way they've done it over the course of their history since since the inception of the PLL is they've kind of added one new wrinkle every year, and for the most part, it's worked and it's helped grow things all around. So,
Mike, something that like kind of you mentioned as well is the inclusion of the WLL on PLL weekends. I think something that would be a great addition is having them kind of join the weekend of fun. Maybe I think we already kind of mentioned it, expanding to a 3-day weekend, going like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and having.
I was even thinking if 3 games in a day is too much, to split the 2 PLL games, since you have all those hours in between, and put a women's game in both days as the middle game. Your choice if you're going to watch it or not. But me personally, I would love it to be and maybe 3 for the price of 2.
And on top of that, I mentioned relocation already for the PLL, or not relocation, sorry, expansion for the PLL. I kind of wonder that with these cities that they are traveling to, that obviously don't have a home team, that this is their gauge on should we make a team or should we add another team and send it here. So I feel as if, like, I'm in agreement with Mike that I think an extension to maybe 12 weeks would be good, because while you still have your 8 home weekends, you're getting 4 weeks to test other markets throughout the year, plus the All-Star game, wherever that fits in. So you're getting like 4 or 5 other chances to really test the overall market around for other teams to start thinking, Minneapolis, that had a really good crowd reaction. That was really good. Maybe we can start thinking about adding a team in Minneapolis, or then maybe they head down to like Georgia. Maybe they head down to Georgia, and they're like, Georgia didn't really have a good reaction, and they head into Florida, and they're like, oh wow, look at Florida's reaction to this. Then there's your 2 teams. They have one over in Minneapolis, and then they have one down in Florida. So
I think you're missing the Midwest. Tell you the truth, places like Tulsa, places like Denver. I'm sorry,
Kansas City.
Kansas City is what I'm thinking. Yeah, but in and around that area, they're really not. Other than the Denver Outlaws, they don't have anything there.
I was thinking Kansas City because that's, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm remembering correctly, this is where the All-Star game took place.
this year, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
this year. So, like you said, I did overlook the Midwest, or absolutely, but I do think Kansas City would be another great location for a team. I thought the All-Star game was very well received in Kansas City.
Right.
I think the commissioner, Paul, remind me, I'm blanking.
Paul Rabel.
Paul, yes.
Paul and Mike Rabel.
Yep. I think they're going to start taking their due diligence, maybe toss another game in Kansas City next year, and start feeling out the process of, I think Kansas City, because I didn't even get the chance to mention them, I think Kansas City really could and should be the next spot for an expansion team.
Well, the one thing that Paul Rabel is definitely is organized, and he has a plan, and I'm sure he's 2-3 years ahead with what he wants to do. Him and Mike, as well as Mick Davis, who is VP of direction, whatever. He's been on the show. He's been on my other show before, talking about it back when they were introducing the website and the app and that. So. So they're all very, very organized, and that's what they do all day long, is figure out different paths and different ways to enhance the experience and where to head next and how to do it. So I'll leave it in their capable hands. So far, it looks like it's working very well. Just watching it step by step through the years that it's been around, it's grown tenfold. It's also, when you look at the numbers, it's grown tenfold because the product has become so good, and their ability to produce television as well has become fairly seamless as well. You don't see many glitches that happen in most broadcasts. There's always something that you put your finger. I don't see it very often. It's usually a very seamless production, and they spend a lot of time working towards that, which is why when you're looking at sixes going on in the Olympics in Los Angeles, ironically, the PLL head offices are in Los Angeles. You know that these guys are working on every T crossed, every I dotted, every angle with Hollywood people to make sure that the best foot is forward, so that the impression, because remember, you only get one chance at a first impression. The impression is going to be, bar none, the best introduction sport ever into the Olympics, and how it works and how seamless it'll go. So,
truthfully, the only way we can go is up, and I'm truthfully excited to see the trajectory that the PLL takes after this season, and I'm excited to see what the offseason brings. I know we have a long time coming towards the draft and towards free agency, but
February 6th tournament is the next one that we're looking at for PLL.
So I'm truthfully excited. I can't wait to see what the future brings.
Awesome. Well, that's a wrap on PLL for now. And Caden, thank you as always for all your input in everything PLL. We appreciate that, and we're looking forward to having you as our new Rochester guy.
Night Hawks all day, every day. Listen, I'm praising. I know we're gonna speak the word of Connor Fields a lot, but listen, I'm just gonna start preaching the word of Mr. Zed Williams. Hallelujah, Lord! I am excited for NLL coming up this year.
Awesome. Thank you so much as always. We will be seeing you very, very soon.
Thank you very much, guys. Have a good rest of your night.
I was Caden Balint with PLL, and of course, he is elated. He's going back to the Champagne because the Atlas have won. That brings us over to the other championship that was finished over the weekend, and of course, that is the Mann Cup, and we have a champion, and his name is Mike. Mike is our champion. Mike picked it, and everybody thought he was crazy, but Mike picked Six Nations in 7, and well, it's Six Nations in 7. My goodness. Now, I talked to you guys off air about this one, and this one blows my mind a little bit when you look at the coaching of Six Nations. And, of course, you have Dewey Jacobs, Rich Kilgore, and John Tavares. Now, what blows my mind about this is, well, between the three of them, that's a collective 30 Mann Cups, 43 championship rings total. Tavares, 8 Mann Cups as a player, 4 as a coach. 4 NLL titles as a player, 3 as a coach. Rich Kilgore, 4 Mann Cups as a player, 5 as a coach. 4 NLL titles as a player, 1 Minto Cup as a player. Dewey Jacobs, 3 Mann Cups as a player, 6 as a coach, 1 NLL title as a player. That's insane. You wonder why you win? That's how you win.
Winners win, man. Winners win.
It. Winners win. Winners know how to win. Winners find ways to win. When things look bleak, you keep winning. Now, we got a number of games to catch up because the last time we checked, it was 2-0 for New West. And Shawn, Mike, I'm going to leave it to your capable hands for a few minutes because I've got to make a quick run. I will be right back.
Yeah, no, I guess we start off on Monday with game 3. And, it's kind of what Gary had talked about last week. It's interesting to see how Six Nations would come out on this one because, now with the time change, getting themselves acclimatized, they've, seen this New West team for 2 games now, whether they figure out. And boy, did they figure it out with a 19-9 win to bring the series to 2-1. And it was the Six Nations I think we were expecting. They were up 8-3 after the first quarter. It was 13-4 after the second, and it really was an onslaught from there. For everything we talked about, Frank Chiliano and how well he played the first 2 games, rough outing for him. He allowed 8 goals on 12 shots and was pulled in favor of Justin Geddy. So rough night for him. But like the guys we were looking for stepped up for Six Nations. Dane Smith, 4 goals, 6 assists, 10 points. Lyle Thompson, 3 goals, 6 assists for 9 points. You had Randy Stotts with 7 points. Ryan Smith, 7 points. For New Westminster, you got a hat trick from Will Malcolm. Mitch Jones had a goal and 5 assists for 6 points. I had 3 assists from Ty Kurtz. Six Nations went back to Doug Jamieson in goal. And, even the rest of the series, Doug looked pretty good. 29 saves off of 38 shots. So Six Nations takes game 3 in pretty easy fashion. We move into the next night, Tuesday, game 4, and Six Nation ties up the series. A little bit of a lower scoring game, 10-3. Again, Doug Jamieson came up big, shut out New West both in the first and third periods, with only New West getting their 3 goals in the second. And really, you look at the start, Six Nations jumped out to a 6-0 start, and really it's hard to catch up against a Six Nations team like that once you're down by 6, especially with the firepower they've got. Again, Six Nations, Dane Smith once again leading the way, 5 assists, 2 goals and 3 assists from Ian McKay. He had 4 goals from Ryan Smith, 4 points from Lyle Thompson. Again, those guys that they were expecting to really step up, those big names are coming through. As I mentioned, Doug Jamieson, 47 to 50 shots. So he saw a lot of rubber, stopped a lot of shots. And for the second straight game, Frank Giuliano gets chased from the net. He allowed 9 goals on 40 shots. Justin Geddy came in kind of late and faced a couple shots and allowed a goal. And your goal scorers basically for the Sound Bellies was Marcus Clarich, so one of the pickups, Ty Kurtz, and Will Malcolm.
A lot of penalty minutes in that one too.
Yeah.
Although there might have been more in game 3.
Yeah, and I mean you think these guys don't want a Man Cup? We're talking, the penalty minutes. As we kind of went on the series, Six Nations lost Josh Byrne to an injury. We saw Will Malcolm come off the floor with an injury for New Westminster. There's a few key injuries on both sides. So I mean, they were going all out for this.
Yeah, I agree.
Then maybe a little bit of the surprise on Wednesday. New Westminster wins 15-11 to make the series now 3-2 for New Westminster.
Yeah, this was the one. I mean, this, after seeing this score, I really thought, I obviously predicted Six Nations in 7, and everyone kind of chuckled that I thought it would even go 7 games, but this was where I really thought that New West had a legitimate shot to win this. You look at game 3, that they pretty much get doubled up, tons of penalty minutes, they get outshot 60-38. Then you want to bounce back the next night from a game like that. How do you bounce back? You score 3 goals, and you basically get tripled up.
Yeah.
And now you've lost, your 2-0 series lead. For them to come out the next day, their third game in 3 days, after 2 blowouts like that, and the second one just being an anemic performance on offense, and to put up this 15-11 win, I thought, geez, talk about resolve. And now you've got a 3-2 series lead and 2 chances to finish it off.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm with you, Mike. at the same extent, though, we saw the Salmon Bellies team come up 2-0, and the Six Nations battled back. So again, we know what the Six Nation has, and I mean, we know they can put together 2 straight just like that. At that same extent, I was with you. I'm like, okay, New West might actually do this when no one else thought they could.
Yeah.
But yeah, for game 5, like 15-11 win. And really it was all bellies from start to finish. I mean, there was a few ties here and there, but for the most part, I mean, at one point, Sam Bellies had a 8.8 goal lead, 12-4 early in the third. It was kind of the Six Nations kind of late in the third threw together a big run to make this one look close. But that being said, we talked about, again, the struggles of Frank Giuliano in those in games 3 and 4. Man, when they needed him big in those last few minutes, he came up big and made some huge stops to keep them in the driver's seat in this one. Again, Will Malcolm, 2 goals, 5 assists for 7 points. You had a hat trick and 3 assists from Ty Kurtz. He's been huge for this team throughout the Mann Cup. You had 2 goals, 2 assists from Ryan Martell, 2 goals, 2 assists from Tyler Pace. You had another 4 points from Mitch Jones. Six Nations again. Randy Stotts, a goal and 4 assists. He had 3 assists from Cody Jameson, a hat trick from Ian McKay, 2 goals and assists from Shane Jackson. But 2 assists from Dane Smith. They kind of slowed down those bigger names. Like, you don't hear Lyle Thompson in there at all. So I credit to New Westminster's defense on game 5. So then we, I guess, head to game 6. Again, the day off. And they head to game 6 on Friday. And kind of what we saw with, between games 2 and 3 with that day off, that day of rest seemed to do good for Six Nations. They come up with a 10-6 win to force game 7. And I think this was the kind of the game we expected to see, where it was close. I mean, I think the score really wasn't indicative. It was kind of back and forth. More or less kind of the Chiefs did take control. They had I guess it looks like a 5-goal run, 6-goal run between the first and second periods, but kind of New West battled back, tried to keep it close as they could. Let me just grab the stats here. Again, Doug Jameson, 30 saves on 34 shots, 4 assists from Dane Smith. He had 2 goals, 2 assists from Ian McKay. A goal and 2 assists from Lyle Thompson. He had a pair of goals each from Ryan Smith and Shane Jackson. For the Salmon Bellies, he had hat tricks from Ty Kurtz and Hayden Dixon. I mean, again, what can you say about Hayden Dixon during this series as well? I mean, between his buzzer beaters, he's just kind of shown that he can bring his game up to the next level. He had 3 assists from Mitch Jones. Frank Giuliano, 37 saves on 45 shots. So then we head into game 7, do or die. And it was a slow start for New Westminster, getting down 5-1 against the Six Nations team. And again, similar scenario when they were down 6-0 earlier in this series, where it's pretty tough to come back from that against the Six Nations team. But credit to them, they go on a 4-goal run between the second and third periods. They actually tied the game in the third. But then it was kind of all Six Nations after that. So in some ways, I feel like this game, the score was closer than what the final score shows. I mean, the Salmon Bellies were really right into it until that third period, where things just kind of dropped off, and it's just Six Nations was too much to handle. Again, Six Nations, Dane Smith, 7-point night. we're talking about those big names coming up big at big times. When you're in seventh game, we'll look at their top scores: Dane Smith, Lyle Thompson, Ian McKay, Shane Jackson, Ryan Smith. They got their big guys to show up when they needed them in Game 7. And again, Doug Jamieson, an outstanding series after kind of a slow start. 36 saves off of 43 shots. For the Salmon Bellies, a little bit more of a rougher night. Actually, Noah Armitage had 2 goals and 2 assists in this game. Mitch Jones, a goal and 2 assists. Ty Kurtz, a goal and 2 assists. 3 assists from Tyler Pace. Again, Frank Chiliano, 37 of 48 shots in the loss. So, you know what? Congratulations for Six Nations for three-peating, but at that same extent, and I know we talk about, well, you know, New Westminster let it slip away. Yes, but at the same point, again, when we're talking about when we all sat before this series, we're all like, well, you know, New West is probably going to be lucky if they get 1 or 2 wins out of this series. The fact that they pushed this Six Nations team to 7 games when no one else thought they could,
Yeah,
I think is a hell of an
2-0 and 3-2.
Is a hell of an accomplishment. And let's talk about Queen's Park Arena. Sold out, I think, every single night for every single game.
Not so much that. There was a standing room lineup of people trying to get tickets. They could have filled 2 Queen's Park Arenas.
Hell, New Westminster had to put out a thing saying, "Watch out for scam tickets."
Yep.
They were so in demand. I mean,
I have a little clip of Lyle Thompson just after the game. I'm going to just listen to him.
Being in this atmosphere, you know, Game 6, before the game, anthems going, crowds buzzing, you know, you get the chills for stuff like that. Then coming in Game 7, never really knowing what to expect. It's Game 7, you know, it's a 1-game series at that point, so, you know, pulling it off is special, and this one feels extra special.
And what do you have to say to your fans back home who supported you guys through this?
You know, just now, thank you. You know, we've had all their support. We got a bunch of support here that come to travel all the way to the West Coast, and without them, we wouldn't have been able to do it.
Thank you so much. It's been so awesome to watch you play. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. Back to you.
That about says it all, doesn't it?
yep.
And thank you to the WLA for the use of the clip. But yeah.
Like I was gonna say, just, you know, as a community, just hats off to Westminster for just putting on an amazing event.
Yeah, well, we had a couple of weird things go on in the stands, but
other than the stand issue, but
they figured it out.
Yeah.
But overall, this one was the best Man Cup we've seen in a number of years, where it was engaging, the hard hitting. Wow, some of those fights were just something else, and you know,
Gash and Priolo, that tilt was
that was incredible. There's a couple of them that were just wow, just amazing, and I haven't seen that since the beginning of the 2000s, with some of the Brampton New West and Brampton Victoria, you know, fights around that era. So, been a long time since I've seen that kind of intensity in a Man Cup game.
Yeah, well, that's what I was just saying as you were kind of off the air, Gary. I mean, you look at the number of guys who got injured in this series. I mean, they left it all on the floor for this Man Cup.
Yeah, the biggest one is Randy Stotts with a knee. He might be out for the year with that one. So, Josh Byrne, not so much. He should be in time for training camp. But the Randy Stotts one, well, we were talking, Mike, when they drafted Alex Marinier and Will McLeod. Man, they have an awful lot of fire, but well, now they need it. So things have a way of working out, don't they?
Yeah. So, you know, a couple of things I want to point out. Yeah, the engagement and comments and everything on social media, at least on Facebook, I think was phenomenal. It was great to just see, you know, people, whether it's just, you know, trash talking or just, you know, just commenting in general. You know, on the WLA page, you know, on, you know, on the team pages, you know, just showing support.
I know I got a lot of comments on both global and lacrosse history.
Yes.
To decipher through.
So, you know, for me, you know, I don't know that it's a sticking point or a sore point. One of the things that did get, and it's maybe it's spillover from last year with all the controversy with the additional players. I mean, people need to give that a rest. That rule has been in place for decades now.
Mm-hmm.
If you know why the rule's in place, you shouldn't have a problem with it. The reason the rule's in place is because of the disparity in just the player pools, available player pools in Ontario versus BC.
And I can make a question out of that because I noticed Graham Kostiuk was on Six Nations. If that's a fact, I mean, can you not? What's the deal here? Because you're bringing guys in from PLL. Basically, you had them signed before, just like the Owen Grant situation with New West. So I mean,
yeah, and that's a thing. I just this is a chance for us to kind of clear up for people who might have that question.
Yeah.
Okay? New West didn't take more players than they were allowed. Okay. And Owen Grant was on the Salmon Bellies roster. He simply did not play during the regular season because he was playing with Boston in the PLL.
Yeah. Just like Graham, I'm assuming. Yeah.
Exactly. So, their three pickups, I mean, yes, they did have a little bit of impact. Okay. Claridge played all 7 games, had 5 goals and 3 assists during the Mann Cup. Ryan Sheridan played in 5 games. He had 4 goals. Elijah Gash played in 5 games, had an assist. He was 3 for 6 on faceoffs and 84 penalty minutes. Which
I was going to say he brought the toughness, really.
Yeah. So, majority of that was kind of in when they were getting blown out in games 3 and 4. Just throwing down, but he did bring the toughness. The series certainly wouldn't be the same had they not picked him up.
No,
the only, I think we have to give a lot of credit to the general manager of the Salmon Bellies, Ray Porcelato. A few years ago, they didn't make the WLA playoffs at all. And he kind of did an open letter kind of thing to the fans saying, hey, we got to get better. We're going to get better. A lot like what we saw a couple of years ago with Derek Keenan in Saskatchewan for the NLL. And we see that work, is paid off. Finals appearance, basically.
And I was going to say too,
an NLL Cup and denying the Bandits a three-peat. Here's New West, kind of doing a little bit of a rebuild themselves and getting players in and getting a roster. Let's face it, you go through New West roster, for all the talk about how everyone on Six Nations is an NLL caliber player. Everyone on that New West roster is an NLL caliber player too.
Oh yeah.
There weren't any guys that were, hey, I came up from, junior A and, I'm in over my head. I'm overwhelmed, but I'm here, no. All those guys. And, there's the question of, hey, could they have done it if Christian Del Bianco hadn't declined to play? He was offered the chance to play. He declined, but I
don't know. Frankie had a hell of a series. I mean, he had a couple bumps in the road. But
he did. Yeah, he did. And CDB was in attendance at some of the games or all of the games cheering him on. So, and I'm certainly not going to argue with any of the guys they ended up picking up. Claridge was the WLA MVP this year. For a Maple Ridge team that, was maybe a bit underestimated this year. The only other question I might have is, they struggled on faceoffs the entire Mann Cup. And they ended up having to do it by committee by not keeping Tyrell Hamer-Jackson on the roster. And you had, Ryan Martell, Adam Wiedemann, Eli Gobrecht, Connor Cook. There were more guys. Gash was taking face-offs.
Yeah, was kind of everybody.
So you had about 6 or 7 different players taking face-offs. And, I'm not sure that they won the face-off battle in any game. I'd have to look closer at the stats, but I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't. And
no, and in most games they were badly outshot too, right? So.
Yeah. Especially game 3. Game 3 was awful, but
71
if I think if there's any lingering question you might have as a Salmon Bellies fan, it's how might this series have turned out if you kept Tyrell Hamer-Jackson on the roster?
That's a good point.
To go up against to be the main guy going up against Tim Edwards every night.
Yeah. The other point I want to make is you mentioned the GM. Let's not forget Jason Bishop was head coach for New West. He had a game plan. He put together a game plan against a tough Six Nations that really kind of pushed the Six Nations team to the brink. So you really have to give him credit for that. And I mean, you look at this as well. You have Dan McRae as an assistant coach on that bench too. That always helps you as well. Sure. But I think you do still have to give Jason a lot of credit for coming in against, like Gary pointed out, look at that coaching staff for Six Nations. With all due respect to Jason, when you're comparing him to John Tavares or Rich Kilgore, and on and on and on, who's a Jason Bishop? I mean, and I say with all due respect, and he held his own in making a game plan.
Yeah, and let's be honest. I mean, we would have been doing the same thing if it had been Coquitlam, and they had taken Six Nations to 7 games. We would have been, pretty much saying the same thing about their coaching staff.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah,
absolutely. All right, with that, summer ball is over, and now we hope for a CBA. We look forward to some of the free agent stuff moving around, and we look forward to training camps opening, going, and a season starting November the 28th in NLL. In the meanwhile, what we will have on the show for the next few weeks will be guests, just like tonight with Mike Cooper. Next Sunday, we have Craig Wendy going to come on the show and talk to us a little bit about his interesting year, especially with that horrendous car accident with that jackass with the yielding a knife that was running from the cops and just about took him and his son out. So, and his coming back into lacrosse and all the trials and tribulations along the way, let alone all the things that have gone on over the last couple of years. So it should be interesting to have Craig on the show and just catch up. Craig's an old friend, so love to have him on the show. But a reminder to everybody that we are on Facebook, we are on Twitter, X, we are on Instagram, we are on Thread, we are on YouTube, as well as on the www.streampunkentertainment.com network. Please visit us 3, 4, 5 times a day as the news is always changing. We have our fingers on the pulse of the situation at all times. We are up to date and on point. We are always on with our reliable sources so that you get the news as you should, reliable and on time. With that, it brings us over to last words. And Mike, let's start with you. Last words this week to you.
I mean, obviously, congratulations to the New York Atlas on their first PLL title. Congratulations to Six Nations on their three-peat. Really, congratulations to New West on taking that team to 7 games. And congratulations to Denver as well for nearly pulling it out and getting their 4th title.
Absolutely.
Shawn, all these leagues. So.
Yeah, the same thing. Congratulations to the Atlas and Six Nations, as well as both finalists as well. Of outstanding seasons on both sides of the ball, whether it's field or box this summer. And with the announcement of the home openers for NLL, hopefully the schedule coming out pretty quick. It seems a little bit more real, but let's hope there's no delays and we can get a CBA done.
Absolutely. Again, condolences to the family of Frank Lawrence and all the associates through Ontario Lacrosse and through World Lacrosse, because Frank was just that kind of a guy. He was indelible and left an indelible mark on lacrosse and on everybody he touched. So again, our thoughts go out to everybody who knew Frank. And again, I hope that they get a CBA together so that we don't have any interruptions into what we love to do and love to watch and love to be around. One other note is on NLL Lacrosse Talk this week. It's on Friday, not Thursday. And Hall of Famer John Fusco will be my guest on that show. So John Fusco on Friday, Craig Wendy on Sunday, and some big guests coming up on both shows over the next number of weeks. So stick with us. That'll be a wrap for this week, guys. What a great week. What a great way to end summer ball.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So remember, everybody, keep your sticks high, keep your spirits higher. And until we meet again next week at 8 o'clock Eastern, have a great week.